Hello and welcome to Willow Talk once again, and welcome to the first time. If you're a new listener, it's great to have your company. Adam Peacock alongside Brad Haddin, who is firmly entrenched on Australian soil for now. How are you, Hads?
It's good. It's good to have the captain back too.
Yeah, Alyssa Healy.
Hi.
Back from her UK sojourn, sipping Pims and living the high life there at Lord's. Was that it?
This is not what happened, but yeah, it was good. Thank you. It's nice to be back together.
Yes.
The gang's back together.
It is.
Did you get out the back of Lord's? Did you go to the tents out the back?
No, I didn't.
Stayed in the box.
Stayed in the box and then wandered around to the other side and sat under the media centre. So, I really lived it up in London.
You did. Every time they took a cutaway of you in the crowd, you did have a glass in your hand.
Yes, you did.
I didn't, but I did notice that every time they panned to me, I looked very unimpressed. And I'd like to say I was happy to be there, guys. I was just a little jet lagged, okay? Especially day one. I tried to fight it with Chardonnay. It doesn't work.
Got to go onto the vodka Red Bull real quick.
Bloody Marys, straight up.
No,
Martini.
Chardonnay, I failed me once again. But I had a really good sleep, so it was fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How was the overall experience there at Lord's? The atmosphere and obviously watching what South Africa did.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, obviously we don't want Australia to lose ever, but to sit there on the last day and see how many South African supporters were there watching Test cricket was really cool. And I thought for the world game, I thought it was a really good win from them, and to see the people really rally around them, the country when they got back. Like there was mad celebrations when they landed back. So I think that's really cool. Like unlike the footage of Pat coming back through Australian airports with the World Cup and no one's there. Yeah. So I feel like that's really cool. But they just played really well. South Africa the whole time, they didn't really let Australia off the hook. I thought they fielded it outstandingly well and just put themselves in a position to win, and they did it.
It actually looked emotional. Like you've seen Sean Pollock, Graham Smith, AB de Villiers. Mate, they flocked the field. They were emotional after the win.
Well, I feel like it's kind of a little bit of a monkey off the back moment. Yeah. Like, they always chat about them choking and whatnot, but they finally just did it and they went out there, played some good cricket. After the game in particular, standing on the field with a whole heap of them, they just seemed really chuffed, which was cool. It was nice. As an Aussie, we don't like losing, but I feel like that was nice.
So put a measure on the chuffness then. Compare it to, say, the day that you had over the weekend when you had an albatross on a golf course. Was it it's like South Africa finally breaking the thing, or you having a 2 on a par 5? Well done, by the way.
I think, considering how shit my golf was around the albatross, I think the South Africans winning the World Test Championship may have got a little more of a hoorah than me just going whippy on the middle of the fourth fairway at Long Reef. But thanks for giving me a shout out.
No, I had to give you a shout. It doesn't happen too often, Hads.
Well, I had 28 points and 5 of them came in one hole, Adam, so it wasn't a great day. Yeah.
Now, coming up today, we've got chat about Marnus. Officially dropped. Steve Smith, obviously, out of the first test in the West Indies. We're going to look at the upcoming Australia-West Indies test and who that top 6 should be. Had's kind of had his say last week. Heels, you can dive in with an opinion. India v England, as we sit here right now, it's the end of day 3. It's looking like, if the weather stays good, an enthralling finish to that first test. Fantastic. So how good is sitting down at 8 p.m. after dinner Australian Eastern Time, and just taking in a bit of Test cricket, a real good contest, Hads, from England. It's the best.
Well, it is a good contest, and it's a good change in the guard for India. I wasn't quite sure how they'd react. I was shocked that England won the toss and sent them in, but I like that Gill got runs straight away, especially as a new captain. You're trying to put your identity on the team. You can sometimes forget about your own performance. So that showed great character that he went out and got the 100 in the style he did. But this is going to be a contest. This wicket's going to deteriorate a lot, I reckon, on day 5. So it's going to be hard work to chase a total down.
We've got a dive into the BBL and WBBL drafts, which were on last Thursday. We're going to play Rate the Draft with Hads and Heels.
Oh, God.
In here. Oh, God. You've got to be nice to everyone, don't you? Because they're...
Yeah, I have to remain biased in my opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbiased. Sorry, I meant unbiased.
Hads is going to remain biased. Yeah. Very biased.
Got his pink hat on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a bit disappointed that Vince is not back, actually.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, like for like.
And we've got a giveaway as well. So Tim Wigmore, a good journo over there, great journo over there in England, has written a fantastic book. It's bigger than the Bible, this thing. It is a lot of words. It's Test cricket, a history. That's why there's a lot of words, because there's a lot of history. And it delves into some of the great kind of facts and anecdotes and everything about Test cricket behind the stories behind the stories. So Tim's written a great book, and I think he sent me one as a kind of can you give it a plug on Willow Talk? We're happy to do that. We're more than happy to do that. He accidentally sent me 2. So what we've got for our listeners in Willow Talk, we've got a couple of books to give away.
Perfect.
That are sitting right here on the table.
Hang on, so he sent you 2, assuming that you would read one of them, but you're going to give both away. Are you going to read it first?
Who says I haven't already read it?
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, actually, I'm a big supporter of people who put their heart and soul into things, so I'm actually going to go and buy one so he can get paid.
Well done.
Tim can get paid, but we'll advertise it here on Willow Talk because it's a great book and it's a giveaway for our,
Hans, can you buy me one?
So we'll give it away. We'll tell you how we're going to give it away. We want some random cricket facts from our audience because we like talking about those. So Hads and Heels are going to give us. I've got a good one. I've got
a great one, Adam.
You do have a good one. It's a little sinister, but
yours shows your evil mind. Actually.
It speaks of your personality, your subconscious.
A bit nervous, actually.
Anyway.
Just finished training. I was feeling a little low, so I thought I'd roll with it. Yeah.
Haven't eaten yet?
Yeah. I'm ready to go.
Make sure you follow us here on social media as well. Just search Willow Talk Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, plus head to Listener Sport on YouTube. We've got some great interviews up there from the last couple of months. Steve Harmison, Graham Swan, still laughing at that one. Mark Taylor, who tells some great stories. And Tim Payne, we chatted to Painey. So he's got a new gig, has he? It's been ratified?
He looks like he's going to look after the next generation. He's going to take over the Australian A program for the next couple of years. I actually think that's a great appointment. I think we should have done that a long time ago, especially with where this Test team's at the moment, the age of our Test team. We could see a big retirement all at once, and that might be in 2 years, 3 years, but Tim Payne's got a big job, and I don't think we can get a better person to do it. I think Payne will do a really, really good job.
So it was a good chat with Payne as well, and in particular his story about John Hastings ending a party in Yuvraj Singh's suite at the IPL a few years ago. So, some good yarns there from all of our guests that we've had on Willow Talk in the last couple of months. And head to Apple Podcasts or Spotify to leave us a review. Any feedback, harsh or fair, is very much welcome, and we'll read them out over the next few episodes. But let's get to more chat about this Australia-West Indies Test series, which is just around the corner, 3 Test series. And last week, Australia got ahead of it, which makes you think very much it was just a straight-out plan. And unless Marnus goes to Lords and tons up, or double tons up, that he was in trouble for this Test series, bringing Sam Constas in, now Steve Smith. That was not part of the plan, that he'll miss out. But Josh Inglis comes in. What do we make of this, Hills? And then the reaction, not so much what has been made, but also the timing of it.
Well, I think there was an element of rewarding the guys that got them to that Test Championship final as well. That was part of probably the decision-making as to what that top 6 looked like. And obviously Marnus was the one to shift to the top and sort of not take one for the team. I don't think that's the way to put it, but he was the one who stuck his hand up and said, I'll have a crack. So... which I thought he looked really good.
Yeah.
For both times he went out there, which was quite interesting. But yeah, look, it just I think they did reward the guys that got them to that final, and then obviously they've decided to go in a different direction. But that's sometimes what happens when you lose in big moments like that. It's a time to reflect and go reset almost and go, okay, what do we need moving forward? And maybe that was a little bit of a catalyst to see what else we've got. Marnus is 100% going to be back in the team at some point in time, but
you said that last week, Hads, didn't you? So you absolute guarantee that at one point this guy will play Test cricket again for Australia.
Oh yeah, I think, and without retiring people as well. Like they look at the side, there's a few spots going to be maybe up for grabs, bat and ball. So I definitely think he's got room to come back into the side, but it's just for now. It's have a little sit down, have a little learn, and let's give these other guys a crack who've been waiting to go.
Reading reports from the Caribbean Hads about Marnus, what he's now has to do to prepare. He doesn't get first crack at it in the nets. He has to wait his turn before all the guys who are going to play the Test wait. But he was happy to bowl a lot in the nets as well. Have you seen it from time to time that guys have just put their personal feelings aside and just go, righto, I've got to be here for everyone in the squad to prepare the best they can?
Well, I think if you just look at Marnus's career, take the World Test Championship, look at what he did in the field. Yes, he hasn't had the runs he'd like over a period of time. And I agree with you, though, Hills, that his career's not over. I think he'll benefit now from having eyes away from the spotlight. We've all been in it. It's like a quicksand moment where, yes, you've got to fix some things in your game. You're forever reading things in the paper, and it might not be you. You can see it in your family's voice when they start to change. You're always having to justify what's going on. Oh, no, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. And by the end of it, you just think, I just need to be dropped.
Yeah.
I just need to get away, take a step away. So I don't think it'll be a bad thing for him. He'll be back in Test cricket and going back to the Test Championship. He always does the little things really, really well, Marnus. That'll be missed in the team. His fielding, his energy creates a bit of humour out there too in the field. The boys will miss on tough days, but having eyes away for some time to go away, work one-on-one with your batting coach, mate, he'll come back a better player. Look like he's playing for survival a bit. So he'll get back to what works for him, and he won't be lost. I think he'll actually come back, though, as a Test opener. That's where I think he'll come back.
Well, it's interesting because sometimes when you're forced to sit on the sideline, whether it be injury or you've been dropped, you can sometimes watch the game differently and see how other people are doing well. And it's not that everyone's the same and everyone bats the same, but there's some little things you can pick up along the way about the guys and girls that are going well, that how can I adapt that to my game, or how can I sort of manipulate what I'm doing to make sure that I come back and do the same thing. So it might actually provide him an opportunity to watch a little bit and figure that out. But yeah, he's such a great team player in that regard that he'll do everything he can.
So in an interview with Cricket Australia through the week, Travis Head, it looks like he's going to be keeping his spot at 5, and though Hads threw out, and it was a pretty good thought as well. It made you think, Hads, like you always do sometimes, that he should maybe go up to 3. Where do you, this batting order, and we will go into greater detail on Wednesday's episode with a full preview of the Test series, the Caribbean Hills. Where do you have all the cards falling?
Well, I mean, ideally you'd want someone like Travis Head to move up to 3, but if you do that, then you're taking away his strengths at 5. And then who fills that role for you? I'm not sure. So I don't mind that he does stay there, but sometimes you want the guy with experience to go in there and play that role. But obviously they're giving Greenie a really good crack at that, and he can make that spot his own if he wants. But yeah, Heady coming in at 5, it just adds a real oomph to our batting lineup. If we don't get off to a great start, he seems to be able to change the momentum really quickly. But then on the flip side, if we do get off to a good start and Travis Head's walking out at 5, holy shit, this is the opposition, because you know what he's going to do. He's going to counter-attack. So, I don't mind him staying there. It's just more around, obviously, Inglis and Green, who goes 3, who goes 4.
So that's a good fence sit.
Sorry.
Well,
I think Greenie, pick Greenie at 3 for the World Test Championship final.
Yeah.
He's probably going to stay at 3 for the West Indies. And while Smithy's not there, Ingo's probably batting 4. So I think that's as simple as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
got there in the end.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I think Green can make a fist of number 3, but he's not bowling at the moment. So where does that change the thought process? Say he does start to bowl in the summer. Is that affect him if he's at number 3? Where does Josh Inglis come in? I just threw Travis Head up because he's nearly played 50 tests now, and I like a number 3 that counterattacks. We've seen our greats come in at 3 no matter what the situation is. He puts pressure as soon as he walks through the gate. And I just thought, imagine him walking through the gate in the first Ashes test. They've got through the first session, and Travis Head has come halfway through the second. So, but Green, as I said, I think he'll make it. Josh Inglis can play a similar role to Travis Head, I think, at number 5. So it's just where they put that order. Young Sam goes at the top. I think he's going to be a much improved player. I reckon there'll be a real clear message around the way he plays now. Mate, what he did, the way he announced himself, was like, I've never seen anything like that. And everyone was talking about him. So, unfortunately, with that debut came a lot of pressure. And I reckon he's gone away. He'll handle all that now. And I think we'll see a really, really different player now. He gets another opportunity at 1 too.
Well, I think the the feedback from the guys who were bowling at him in the nets leading into the final was that's the best they've ever seen him bat.
Yeah.
So he was like super disciplined, hitting the ball beautifully, making good decisions. So I think from like an Australian fast bowling attack to say that, I think they're really excited about what Constance 2.0 might bring.
Charlie Smith got in contact as well on Instagram, a listener. Can you please ask Haddin Hill why Nathan McSweeney isn't in the side getting a chance against the West Indies? Next cab off, or maybe the rise of Josh Inglis has perhaps put Inglis ahead of McSweeney
I think
the pecking order?
with the performances of the batsmen they got in the team, he's just behind those guys at the moment. But I actually don't think that's a bad thing either, because we've got a big Australian A program over the winter. He gets an opportunity to go to India to play. And as a bit the same with Marnus, I think he'll benefit from not being there. As silly as that sounds, he had exposed to Bumrah, and that's the only one who really troubled him. So he'll be able to go away, work on what he needs to in your head too, and he won't be able to test selection if we need an opener or a middle order come the Ashes. But it's not a bad thing he's not there, because now he gets to play some cricket rather than carrying the drinks.
The poor bloke, like he gets thrown in to open the batting against Jasprit the unplayable across summer. Yeah. And now he finds himself, okay, I'll shuffle back down, but he's good enough to fight his way back in.
100% he is, and I think his leadership capabilities as well is what sets him apart from a lot of the other players that we speak about in that lineup. So he's got captaincy written all over him. Yeah. So I think that will help him as well in the long run. But I agree with Hads. There's no way that he's not going to get another shot at it. It's just probably when and what sort of position he'll be in. So
3 test series in the West Indies. There's one quick bowler, tall left-arm dude who's played 97 tests. Grey?
Yeah.
Didn't look like it.
Yeah.
Is he on the Just for Men?
No.
It looked all...
I can tell you, no.
Fair enough. So 97 test matches for Mitchell Starc. So 98, 99, 100... Pink ball test Jamaica, not first test of Ashes.
I'd hope so.
First test of Ashes?
It's an amazing achievement to get 100 tests, but I just think for a fast bowler to get there.
There's only a handful who have ever done it.
It's huge. Well, you obviously got McGrath. There's got their Anderson and Broad. Mate, they've gone on for years, but I would actually like Starkey to do it in Australia. I know that doesn't look like the case because you don't play that many test matches without having... knowing how to prepare and get himself right for these 3, but I would like him to do it in Australia. I think he deserves that.
What would you like him to do?
It can't be it either. So if you could delay it till like Adelaide, that'd be great. But
no, that's an injury. Now we're going.
No, we're like without speaking on behalf of him, he doesn't care where it is.
No,
he genuinely doesn't. If it's in Jamaica in that last test match of that series, he'll be just as chuffed as if he was walking out at the SCG early next summer. So. He doesn't mind, and I think, like, quite literally, this is a really cool milestone for him and one that he's really, he's not there yet, and I don't want to jinx it, but one that he's actually really proud of. He's done a lot of stuff throughout his career, but I can see what playing 100 tests would mean for him, especially as a quick bowler. He says it all the time, and not many have got there, and to have his name up there, he'd love that.
Yeah, there's less than 10, I reckon. There's Courtney Walsh thrown in the mix, Kapil Dev, who was obviously an all-rounder, but he bowled pretty quick. Wasim Akram as well. Yeah. So
for a guy that has basically been told his whole career that he shouldn't be playing for Australia by everybody externally, I think he's done pretty well.
Don't be like that. It wasn't everybody. Yeah. You only heard the ones that said it, but I dare say that 90 to 91% of people said, no, we like this guy on the team.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a good player.
The other thing you've got to realise with this as well, Starkey's always been our number 1 white ball bowler.
Yeah.
So when you sit back and go, he sacrificed a lot looking from the outside. Like he could have taken the big dollars early at IPL. He's always been sought after in those sort of games. But
would have been handy, Brad.
Yeah, he can after that. But he's also made it really clear at the start of his career. No, I want to play 100 tests. And he looks like he's built to this moment for a long time. So you got to take your hats off. I'm not just saying that because Heels is here. It would have been so easy for him just to chase IPL, but he always wanted this 100 tests. So It's a horrible job being a fast bowler.
Well, he's almost played, I think it's almost 300 games for Australia, and for like almost 100 of them to be test matches, it shows like the importance of the red ball game in his mind. And that's all he's wanted to do is represent Australia with the baggy green on.
Or the pink ball game, because he's got the greatest record in the infancy of pink ball test matches.
That hasn't been confirmed yet, though, has it? That it is a pink ball
It's
game?
listed everywhere as a day-night pink ball test match that Bradley Haddin may or may not be commentating on.
I'll be there.
Can we announce it yet?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll be there.
There you go. He might be commentating on it.
I'll be the last test in the 5 2020s.
Oh, you're just going over for the silly stuff at the end as well. Okay. That'll
I've
be
got
good
some
fun.
fond memories of Brad Haddin in the West Indies early in my career.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Brad doesn't because he can't remember it, but
Yeah.
you can remember it.
I don't know if he can remember this. Can I tell the story?
I got fined.
Do what you want.
That Hilton at Barbados
Mm.
there after the World Cup you guys lost, we won. And I distinctly remember going for a swim in the pool the next morning, and there's Brad Haddin throwing Sean Tate's minibar into the pool from level 6.
Well, in my defence, Haydn said
to be fair, he threw me a bounty and I ate it.
What, even Led Zeppelin? You're throwing things out of hotel windows.
Tatey had his alcohol, all his beers were done, his Caribs, and he called out to me and he said, "Throw your minibar down." I said, "There you go." So
How much that cost you?
I got a chocky bar out of it. I was happy.
yeah, I don't know. I would have kept the chocolate bars to myself, but all the alcohol went to Tatey.
Okay. Oh, you actually took it out of the fridge. You didn't just throw the whole fridge down.
No. Come on, we were all
Damn, I
involved.
thought it was a better story than that.
No,
I
don't
thought
be
it was
silly.
the actual mini. I just had visions of this little half-sized Westinghouse just flying out of the window in the West Indies.
All I remember about that is getting fined in the final.
What for?
Got caught down leg side and hit me,
Yeah.
and I got off. And someone said, "Did you hit that?" And I said, "No, I reckon I got a mark there." And I showed it, and they caught it on camera and descent.
You got fined for showing someone in the dressing room the mark on your hip. So it wasn't like you were
Did
walking
you do
off.
it in the dressing room or were you
No,
on
it
the
was down-
field?
You know, with 2020, you just walk off into
Yeah.
the dugout. They said, "You hit that?" I said, "I'm not sure, but I think I've got a mark there," and you could see it. Anyway, I got fined.
You gotta do
England
that
beat
stuff
us.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Unlucky. Anyway,
Sorry.
the pink ball test, Mitchell Starc over 70 wickets at 17, I think, in pink ball test. So it's not a bad situation to be in if that's going to be 100th. Brad saying that maybe first test of an Ashes might be better, but whatever the case, wherever it
It
is,
doesn't matter.
yes, we'll look at it closer to the actual event as well. India, England. So again, reiterating, we sit here right now 3 days in to what is looming as an enthralling finish to this first test at Headingley. Unusually the first test of a series over there in England, but they've served up a pretty good deck. Headingley known as one of the bouncier tracks, if not the bounciest track in England, and it's provided some runs, some entertainment, players scoring quick, so it could get a result. What's your key takeaway of what you're seeing so far, Hads? That bat wins over ball in this series, or is it too early to tell?
Oh, well, it's been a contrast, actually. If you look at the way India batted, they could have batted England right out of the game. But they showed a bit of fight, England with the ball, and they took 6 for 41 to knock the tail over. And then on the other side to that, the English showed some real fight with the bat, but their last 6 put on 240. But the key I've taken out of it is a couple. I was shocked that Ben Stokes didn't bat. I thought overhead conditions, what the wicket had looked like, I thought England would have batted. I know they've had a lot of success chasing. And the other thing I've been impressed with Gill. I know we spoke about it at the top, but coming into your first series as captain, there's obviously a lot of pressure as captain, but there's a lot of pressure as Indian captain. That they've lost a lot of experience in the change room. And what I liked about it, you can sometimes get caught up in leadership, looking after everyone else, but his main job in the team is to bat. And I like the way he came out and he played in that first innings, because it would have been easy for him to have a lot going on in his head and thinking about everyone else. But the way he came out and took the game forward shows that this captaincy is going to suit him. He did well in the IPL with it. Didn't look like it affected his batting, but that shows a lot of mental strength to do that first up.
His bat just sounds so different to everybody else's. Like, that's all my takeaway from it is that when he plays those cover drives, I'm like, that doesn't sound real. Like nobody else's sounds like it. Not even Ben Stokes' straight drive sounds the same as when the ball's coming off Gill's bat at the moment. It just looks effortless. But probably the takeaway from me at the moment, and we said it leading into the series is how important Bumrah is for that side. He's the only one who looked like taking a wicket for India at one point in time. Obviously, Krishna stood up and made a little bit of impact. But if he's only going to play 3 tests, what do you do for the other 2?
That's the thing. Does the series rest on how many test matches Jasprit Bumrah plays? That simple fact.
It feels like it, and like I understand there's a bit of talk about Stokes wanting to bowl first, but apparently of late they've been bowling first a lot because the wicket gets better and better, and they're happy to chase. But if it does get drier, like does Jadeja come into the game a little bit more? But then it's like, in answer to your question, I don't know what India are going to do.
What about the ball? What about the bouncer he bowled to Harry Brook late on day 2? That looked like the most unenjoyable experience you could have playing cricket. Facing something like that.
Mate, more unenjoyable is the amount of catches they dropped.
Yeah.
That
crucial too.
Harry Brook got 99. He got dropped on a no ball out for naught. Pant dropped him on 46. And Jayswell dropped 3 catches.
Yeah.
He dropped him on 82. It was interesting. I know, how close did you watch Pant keep? Like, I was watching him very close because he doesn't crouch, which is fine, but you still need to be in that power position where his legs were straight the whole time. So if the ball does anything, you're in you can't move. You sort of fall to where the ball, and he dropped an easy one, just a regulation nick, but his legs are straight.
Yeah.
So
he's got no power to go laterally.
So watching that, and give us the intel here, keeper, for people that might have been watching it, wondering technically what he did wrong. So his hands got away from his body, and he tried to he was almost like he was leaning one way. He was standing up straight, and his gloves obviously missed the ball because everything wasn't moving. So how does he rectify that?
Well, keeping England sucks because the ball moves the whole time, right? Yeah. So generally in Australia, you can track it the whole way in. It doesn't wobble as much after it's past the bat, but in England, it just goes the whole time. Yeah. So you actually have to really focus on, like Hads was saying, getting yourself in a really good neutral position so that you can react to when the ball moves. But I was watching him, I didn't see the drop catch, but I was watching him just in general, and he doesn't watch it all the way in, which also isn't a great sign. So when the ball does then deviate off the bat and then even further in the air, if you're A, not in a great position, and B, not watching the ball, tracking the ball the whole way, you're in strife.
What about how India as well on day 3 were going to pull rifle? It felt like every 5 minutes saying, the ball's out of shape, the ball's out of shape. And he was putting it in. I'll go with you on that. I reckon you're allowed to ask the umpire twice per ball. Well, it's out of shape.
Watching it, I actually think it had a soft spot in it. So that's what they were pointing at, that there's a soft spot. And I'm like, yeah, but that's cricket. Like, the ball gets soft. Yeah. Like, that's just the way it is. It still goes through their little hoopy hoop, then play on.
It was frustrating because it felt like they went to the umpire about 8 times to say it's out of shape.
On something?
Yeah, go for it.
Everyone does it when the ball doesn't move. The first thing you do is someone go to the umpire or start talking from mid-off to cover. So the umpire, he goes, I think this ball's out of shape. So all I was trying to get was a ball that does something. As you've seen in the last World Test Championship when Australia had that new ball come out.
That's what I'm saying, though. So it takes more time out of the game when we're already running out gloves and, is the light okay? And, the wind's coming a bit hard from that direction. Say,
you had any slip?
Yeah.
Me? No. You can only do it twice per ball.
Nah.
Per
you can do it as long as you like, I reckon.
Nah. It's crap.
It keeps the umpire involved.
You're there to put your hand up or not. Yeah. That's the only thing the umpire's there for.
When it's become really, really hard to ball tamper, it's the only way to get a ball moving.
That's a good point you make. That's a good point you make.
Watch him close. When you're going for that little catch like that, he can't move. If the ball and the ball drops sometimes in the UK or just starts to go away from you. If you're not in a power position to use your legs, you're gone.
Harry Brook. So, okay, he had to survive at the end of day 2. But he hit one of those shots where I was watching on KO, for instance, at home, and I went, pause, back. Hey, everyone, come and have a look at this. It was like straight over mid-wicket, just like he was playing a forward defensive shot. And it went about 43 rows back.
Well, I loved the 2-step down the wicket, bang, over cover. That's my favourite.
That was pretty good
fast
too.
Bowlers. Yeah, that's trademark. Harry Brook.
That guy's eye must be
He's
something
so
above.
still, but that's like that's his strength is that his head is so still in whatever he's doing. He's like he gets in good positions, but his head and his eyes are so still, and he just frees his hands out. It's good to watch.
He's going to be good out here. Well, we know he's going to play the same role as Travis Head. But he did give 3 opportunities. Like he's 3 for 99. But the one thing he will do is he'll put pressure back on our bowling attack. And the only way you can beat us is you have to take our bowling attack on, which comes with high risk. But it'll be interesting the field you have for Harry Brook. There's a couple of key spots. You might start with the deep point to Harry Brook, so he has to hit somewhere else because he does use his feet like to give himself room. But it'll be interesting because Australia will do all the intel on him now, but he's going to be a huge wicket for the summer.
He's got an interesting relationship with Indian cricket, obviously. He's played 1 season of IPL with mixed success, put him down to play.
100.
Yeah, but put himself down to play this one and then went, oh no. And that gets him banned under the new rules for a couple of seasons. He had some interesting alleged things to say about Indian cuisine, which we won't dive into much because I reckon those words were twisted. But he did say that sometimes the ball was hard to pick up in Kolkata because of the smog. So, yeah, he could be picked upon by some of the Indian crowd. And there's a lot of Indian cricket fans inside those grounds in England for this series. So, he could be an interesting relationship.
I think maybe he's just a little bit too honest. Like what he's saying, what he's thinking. But like I understand his last withdrawal, and that's because we were talking about it. He's probably going to be England captain, so he made that decision. And it's obviously a hard one to make when you know you're going to get banned. But the ECB have obviously made it worth his while. But he's fine. I don't think that he cares one bit.
I think he just gets homesick early in his career. IPL's taxing on a young cricketer when you're trying to make your mark in international cricket, and you have 3 months where that's where your break is. And I heard him get interviewed the other day, and he said, "Oh no, I'd like to go back and play, but I had a focus on being Test captain. One day captain, and I wanted to make sure I was fresh and in a great mindset to lead." And he's done some good things when he first captained England against Australia in a white ball series last summer. He was good. Tactically, he's really, really good.
So if something happens to Stokes, he's in as Test captain for the Ashes?
Well,
Ollie Pope's
Pope,
there,
yeah.
but it wouldn't surprise me if Harry Brook gets a little bit of a nod.
Anyway, that's by the by. What we do know is it's going to be a magnificent series, and we're not even through the first test, so looking forward to seeing the rest of it play out. We'll discuss it at length.
And the irony is that Graham Swan, out of his mouth, said this is a perfect warm-up for the Ashes. And I was like, you're in the midst of like one of the biggest series in the summer, and he said that it's a warm-up for the Ashes. I was like...
Swanee just can't wait to get here.
It didn't go down too well.
He loves Australia.
Exactly. Off to a quick break here. What are you about to say? No? Nothing? Oh, you need to cough again. So we'll go to a break. Drinks break here on Willow Talk. Back in a sec with the BBL draft and also our book giveaway, our random test facts. BBL and WBBL draft was done last week here in Australia. And
I missed it.
Okay. Yeah, you were on a plane, were you?
Just catching up on it.
Yeah, you probably had to take the long way home too, given what's going on.
We
in the
flew
world.
through Afghani airspace and I'm here.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
You're here. That's the main thing. Men's and women's draft done. Okay, well, point us out, having a look at the draft summaries for both the blokes and the women. Who won the draft? Apart from the Sydney Sixers, you two.
I think the Heat done really well.
Shaheen Shah Afridi.
Yeah, with the Freedy first pick. Remember you got Spencer Johnson there, Xavier Bartlett. Heels, you good? You've been smoking or something?
No, I'm like
Hay fever.
I've got 3 flus on the trot. All right, everyone, leave me alone.
Nessa. So, mate, that adds a world class bowler up front, and then you can start to use Spencer Johnson that differently. I think they did really, really well out of it. I like also what the Renegades have done. Rizwan, I think he'll suit those conditions. The Renegades.
Well, wait a minute. What are those conditions?
Well, his experience.
Some of those decks that they serve up.
Well, I think his experience, he'll be able to adapt to whatever surface they get there, and that allows young Jake Fraser-McGurk and guys like that just to play their game. I think they needed a bit of experience, and they got Tim Seifert there as well. A good signing from the Thunder, they obviously got Billings and Lockie Ferguson, but Shad Khan, that's really, really good on their surface because that allows them a bit of flexibility. He can bat in the top 6. His leg spin there. He's a great fielder also, but he'll add a lot to that team there because they've got to win their home games. And they nearly need to pick 2 totally different teams, a team to play at home and a team to play away, but he'll suit their home conditions. I see the Perth Scorchers also, they've gone back for Laurie Evans. They were disappointing last year with their selections. They end up dropping nearly all of their overseas players, so they've gone aggressive again. And I see Sam Curran is coming to the Sixers. We've had Tom there for some time, but Sam Curran's an interesting selection because he's an all-rounder, but I think in Australian conditions, he's a top 4 batter. So I'd expect him to be used in the top 4 batting.
WBBL draft?
I was going to say, Hads didn't leave me any teams to go with in the BBL draft. He just did the whole thing. I thought the Sydney Sixers men won that draft, by the way. I think they've got some good ones.
Contractually obliged to say that.
I am, yes.
Bonus tick.
The WBBL draft, I think the Strikers and the Hurricanes won the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Hobart Hurricanes getting the signature of Nat Sciver-Brunt before the draft unfolded is an absolute coup because everybody wants that signature.
Have they offered the best childcare facilities, have they, potentially?
Maybe, and Hobart's quite nice, for
is.
a little one, and obviously Sally Ann Briggs there running the show down there. There's a bit of an English connection, so not saying that's
English.
Yeah, not saying that's the be-all and end-all, but that does help. I know that, a lot of teams were after that signature, but obviously then the Strikers getting Sophie Eccleston to add to what is an already formidable bowling lineup is going to prove very challenging for a lot of sides. So those two did very, very well.
They did.
Yep.
They did. Sixers.
Thunder and the Sixers?
Yeah, the Sydney teams.
Well, the Thunder hadn't changed. I mean, we all knew that they'd definitely retain Heather Knight. Chamari's signed and Shabnam Ismail, they're not letting her go either. I think Sophia Dunkley going number 1 draft pick did surprise me. I didn't know that that's the way that we were going. I will say that. I say we, like the Sixers. I didn't know. But we obviously need some batting. Do you take the punt and try and get her later in the draft? Someone might have snapped her up, so we almost had to relinquish Soph and try and take a punt on getting someone who might be able to have an impact in our side with bat in hand and probably try and win us a trophy. And Maddie Villiers coming along is a really cool get as well. She burst onto the scene a little while ago for England and then kind of disappeared, but is a really talented cricketer and hopefully, we can give her some opportunities to keep showcasing what she can do.
Were you involved in this process?
No.
Oh,
well,
lucky you. It is an enormous process getting ready for a draft.
Moddy sent me 3 options. Obviously, Matthew Mott's taken on the coaching and he sent me a few options and my thoughts on them. And none of those thoughts were at any point in our draft list, so I don't even know why I bothered. But I don't want to be a part of it. That's like you said, that's way too much for me.
It is hours and hours on Zoom meetings, and you've got to come up with different scenarios.
Yeah,
and I don't know with the girls' game also. You got to also look. Sometimes they're only available for 4 games.
Yeah.
Then you got to map out. Okay, where are those 4 games? Will they benefit there? Can they win us 2 of them? It's a huge, huge process getting your draft right because if you get this wrong, it can be the difference between making the finals or flunking out.
But that's what I'm saying. So if the Sydney Sixers had taken the punt and gone, let's say we pass in that first round, we had the first pick and we passed, and then Strikers said we want Eccleston and we retained Eccleston on that go, then we try and take a punt on getting someone like Dunkley later on. Someone else might snap her up. And then what? Then what?
Yeah,
then where do you go?
Right.
Then you need a world-class bat. And they've when you look around the list, there's not that many available because of teams have already retained them. So it becomes fascinating.
If you pass with your first pick, you don't deserve to be in the draft full stop. You should get banned from the draft.
Why? Tactics, mate.
Have a go.
Mate,
have a go.
Tactics.
Mate, it's a lot of tactics involved.
This
Mock
sounds like
options.
a guy who's never been in a draft.
No, nor do I want to be, but it just defies logic that you'd pass on your first
You
pick.
definitely take the mood out of the
I've never
room.
seen it in an NBA draft. Oh, we'll pass, thanks. We'll wait for this guy to come back around.
Yeah, because they're not retaining anyone.
Yeah.
They don't have that right. We have the retention rights, right? Right?
Right.
Right.
Right. I liked you when you were coughing more.
You need a coffee.
Yeah, maybe a fourth for the day. Okay, it's time now to get to our giveaway here on Willow Talk. Thanks to Tim Wigmore, who sent not one but two accidentally, one on purpose. Test Cricket, a History. We've got two books to give away, and we'll tell you exactly how in a moment. But it's all based around the fact that Test cricket has this rich history of greatness, but also weirdness, some weird facts about Test cricket. And this book goes into great detail about both of which, but mainly it says from Bodyline to Bazball, the golden age to the rise of the West Indies, and Shane Warne to Ian Botham, readers will come to appreciate Test cricket's remarkable history like never before. It's a big book. How many pages have you got?
I was thinking it's a small book in comparison to the length of Test cricket has been going.
It is 539 pages of prose.
Very small print.
It's smallish print. You need your glasses. But it breaks it down. It breaks it down. It's a great book. So we've got two to give away. We want the most random test facts from our listeners, and we'll put it out there on the Secret Cricket Club. But to kick us off, let's start the theme inside here. Willow Talk.
Yours is the best.
No, I can't say mine first. Yeah. Or are we going to bring the mood down straight away?
I'll go first.
Yeah, get your crap one out of the way.
Okay. 1939. So you guys heard about the fact that, especially when Test cricket in Australia, they were timeless tests.
Yep.
They weren't 5-day tests, they were timeless tests.
Yeah, 9 days long.
The last ever timeless test when they realised that, okay, this is getting out of hand, was the fact when South Africa played England in 1939, it went to a 10th day. England were in pursuit of 650 odd or like nearly 700, and they were on track to get them. But they had to call the match a draw because England had to get their boat home.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they weren't. Yeah. Otherwise, they were going to have to go through straight through Africa on horseback to get home.
And people think Test cricket is boring now. Imagine that back then.
Exactly.
10 days to get, you have 3 days to get 650 runs.
A lot of runs played. So, yeah, that was the last ever timeless test, and thank God they got rid of it. So, there you go. That was a random test fact. So, it's along these lines. We want just random crap. Even along the lines of the worst ever test match lunch you guys have had or something like that. I don't know if you've got that or something else for me here.
Well, there's only one married couple in Test cricket. To both have scored 99 as their highest in Test matches.
That's just rude.
They both choked.
Anything to say about that? Sledge?
PTSD, reliving that moment.
See, this is him as a cricketer, isn't it?
I'm actually reliving Mitch's moment because like, I had to watch that one, whereas I knew what I was doing and went, oh no, the moment I stepped out.
Was it in your head?
No, I was like, I'll just knock this down there for one. And I was like, why didn't I just slog that?
Oh, 100%.
Slog it like I've done the whole time.
Okay, so that points towards how Haddin thinks about life. It's just like, okay, I'll just go a nice little fact, but I'm just going to twist the knife here a little bit.
Jerk.
Does your random test fact tell us a little bit more about your personality, Heels?
Yeah, I watched some stuff flying home, but my random test cricket fact is Leslie Hilton from the West Indies is the only test cricketer to be hanged.
Okay, that's brought the mood up.
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic.
1955, he got hanged for the murder of his wife, but he played test cricket for the West Indies.
The murder of his wife?
Yeah, he apparently shot her in a fit of rage, jealous rage. Anyway, that's what I read on Wikipedia, but he is the only test cricketer to have been hanged.
Here at Listener, we've got these true crime podcasts. Maybe we can do one, get the crew to do one on Old Mate in the Windies.
We should, yeah.
What movies do you like to watch?
Stephen King ones?
Do you like horrors?
No, but no, I do enjoy the odd horror film every now and then, but I do laugh that every time Mitch comes home from a tour or something, I'm sitting on the couch watching the women's murder mysteries or whatever they are, the women who kill, and he's like, I want this noted for when something goes wrong that you're watching this.
It is known that you can tell a lot about a person's personality by looking at their Netflix algorithm.
I don't wind down with that stuff though. That's different. Yeah. So people who wind down with like crime, like serial killer documentaries, that's another level.
I'll wind down with that.
Yeah.
Look at his eyes. You can tell.
Fall asleep though half an hour into it, but it helps me nod off.
Okay. Good
Dark dreams.
It's better than a rom-com.
And you were having a crack at me then. Look at that.
Some other test facts that producer Joel's put on the sheet.
So we're not ending on that one. I thought that was ending with a bang. But
well, there's a good one
not a
here.
bang,
The first
you know?
player ever to be given out by the third umpire was Sachin Tendulkar in 1992 during India's tour of South Africa. Chris Gale is the only person to hit a 6 in the first ball of a test match.
Against Bangladesh.
Did you see Chris Gale across the weekend, by the way, at
How
Royal
good was
Ascot?
it? Royal Ascot. How good was that?
But isn't that bloke just walking around like he owns the joint? Because he probably does.
This is a random fact, and it's not. It also involves test matches, but I'm pretty sure Ash Gardner is one of, and Chris Gale are the only two people that have their first 3 scoring shots in elite cricket of 6s in every format or something like that.
Really?
She's part of a win. I'll find that stat and
She's
bring
in
it
that
to
club too?
Wednesdays. Yeah, she hit her first scoring shot in test match was
So
a
that's
6.
a better stat from you.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Well, wrap us over the knuckles for putting in a test match, men's test match.
No, but he wasn't her first ball. It was her first scoring shot.
First scoring shot. Got you. And outside test. We want test cricket facts, but here's an interesting one to end us out. So test cricket facts, send them through, and these 2 books will give away to the 2 best entries as adjudged on a future episode of Willow Talk. There was a T20 between Nepal and the Netherlands. I'm actually told it's Nepal as well. Not Nepal, but I'll just say Nepal because I'm used to it. Nepal and the Netherlands in the Ganja Cup. It ended 8 for 152 v 7 for 152. First super over, 1 for 19, played 0 for 19, none for 19. Second super over, none for 17, played 2 for 17. So they went again for a third super over, and Nepal only got 2, and the Netherlands hit a 6 with the first ball. Happened last week as well. That's an extraordinary finish to a game. That's how they should do super overs, not like the 2019 World Cup.
Let it go, mate.
Oh, I'm not involved. It's New Zealand, England. I didn't really care about the result, but England actually didn't win a World Cup. They drew a World Cup and got a trophy. Correct? You're not going to
agree.
say that.
I agree. Why'd you both look at me?
I don't know.
I was just going to leave it hanging like the whole time, and then you'll be like, "Thanks for listening to Willow Talk."
I was waiting for a I don't care because it was England and New Zealand, but yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
4 years to the day,
Yeah.
what I think it was England won. No, New Zealand won.
the Mace.
Yep.
Their first, the first ever World Test
Yep.
Championship. New Zealand won it.
Yep. No one cares. Anyway. That's how good
You brought
your
it
facts
up.
are.
The Kiwis cared at the time. That's us for Willow Talk this edition. Thank you, everyone. We're back on Wednesday, but back on Thursday, I should say. I don't
Good to be
know
back,
what day it
everyone.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you whenever that is.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening. Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.